Hello, everyone. I believe we're all here and ready to begin. All right, thank you guys. Welcome everyone to the Reskill Americans orientation for the 2022-2023 cohort. We are so glad you are here and we're excited to get started. We're going to start off with opening remarks from our founder, Femi. If you could please introduce yourself and kick off our orientation. Thank you.
Can everyone hear me? Can you? Okay, great. Hi,
yes,
everyone.
Perfect.
Yes, so hi, everyone. Thank you all so very much for making the time to join us today. I don't know how much you all know about the Reskill Americans or why this happens and why everyone on this call is here today. So I thought as part of opening remarks, I'll walk you through exactly why Reskill Americans exist. So, and to do so, I want to talk about how here at Reskill Americans, we view hurdles as opportunities. And we, hopefully by the end of my opening remarks, you will as well. So a couple of things. I think we started in 2020, Reskill Americans did, and we started because we saw a hurdle. Lots of people, and that will be the theme all throughout my remarks. We saw a big hurdle. Lots of tech companies want to hire diverse talent, but no diverse talent to be found in the pipeline. That's a problem we saw, and we said, okay. We looked around, we saw the wonderful work that's being done by all the wonderful organizations out there, and we said, okay, we need to lean in and help. So how do we make this hurdle an opportunity? We said, okay, let's try something different. Let's try opening up skilling to anyone who would want it. Let's have only 2 criteria. And then let's do the very best to get as many of the folks that opt in through the process as possible. So we automatically thought if we're going to do this, then scale must be a huge thing for us because we can't afford to, if we open it up, then we must not turn anyone away unless they don't qualify. So scale has been a theme from when we started. We've always been around, to turn a hurdle into an opportunity. Let's scale access to skilling to underrepresented minorities by the thousands. Let's do our very best to get them skilled up, help them get real tech world experience so they can transition into tech jobs. So that in a nutshell is what we have been about since 2020. Our first cohort started 2021 and ended in 2021. Keeping with the theme of hurdles, it's been a year since our last cohort ended. So you can see we had a hurdle to get over to actually get the team, get people to rally around to make this happen again. So because folks believed that that hurdle needed to be turned into an opportunity as well, we're here again for another cohort. And we're hoping, just like the last time, that we're able to take as many folks that are willing to apply themselves, willing to put in the time through the process as possible. So, so again, like I said, hurdles into opportunities. It's key for you to understand this concept because it should apply to you. A lot of folks from past feedback joined this program because they were looking for a way to get into tech. And they were always worried, oh, getting into tech is an insurmountable hurdle for me. I don't have a skill set, I don't have a background, and so on. So consider Reskill Americans as your opportunity to turn that narrative upside down or on its head. So give us your full 90, as they say in a soccer game. Give us everything you've got, partner with us so we can help move you and help support you in this transition as you look for a professional career in tech. So it's been a year, and the reason it's been a year is it takes a lot to put a program like this together. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention all the parties that came together to make this happen. First and foremost, even though the program is free, it is tuition free. Someone, a group of folks, do help to offset the cost of doing a program like this at scale. And those are our donors. So we're very supremely grateful for our donors for stepping in once again, rallying around and making this program possible. So super duper thanks to our donors on that. The next, our board of directors. Reskill Americans, just like any other nonprofit, has a board of directors that has worked tirelessly to pull this all together. So we're supremely grateful to them as well. Then we have, outside of our board of directors, we have a lot of people that advise the board, that advise the organization as well. Our board of advisors, we're supremely grateful to them for stepping up and working with us over this past year to put this together again. Now, your day-to-day interactions, everything you're going to see and experience on this call would not be possible without the operational team that has worked tirelessly to pull this all together. And our operational team is headed by Giselle, you'll meet her shortly, who's our executive director. So we have lovely folks like Amanda, like Juwan, like Ashley, and so many more behind the scenes. Sheyi, you'll meet him as well, who worked tirelessly to pull this together. And last, but certainly the most important part of this puzzle is you, the participant. We're supremely grateful that you have chosen to give us your time. You have chosen to give us your attention. You have chosen to spend the next couple of months with us on this journey. We really do want to partner with you. We have lots of tech companies that really do want to hire you. So if you give this everything you've got, we're hopeful that we can put you on a path to transition to a career in tech like you want. One last thing I want to say before I stop is the idea of having a skilling program that teaches skills for folks by the thousand and choosing software development is deliberate. We understand that a lot of folks, software development and UX UI design is deliberate. Consider the skills you learn here as opening the doors to you from a career optionality standpoint. Please do not discount the professional experience you bring to the table. Consider combining your professional experience with the skills you gather here to take the next step. Your professional experience is very much valued by tech companies. It's very much valued by us. Please lean in with your professional experience where possible, and please do not discount it. like I said, combining what you will get from spending the next couple of months with us, with your professional experience, is what we believe will put you on a path to success. So I think I have gone through my allotted time by 1 minute. I will stop here. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much, participants, for making Reskill Americans truly an opportunity for us to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you, Femi. And with that, I'll pass it on to our Executive Director, Giselle, who's on the call. And also on the call, we have Alex and Lorraine, two past students from last year's cohort who will be speaking as well. And the rest of the room is our team, including Shayi, who is in charge of our curriculum, and he'll be able to speak as well. But I'll pass it on to Giselle for now.
So firstly, I am just so excited. I wish I could see all of your faces because I'm so excited that you're here. The response that we got to this year for this cohort was just really overwhelming and amazing, and I'm grateful that you took this journey with us. More than that, actually, I'm looking forward to getting to know as many of you as possible, seeing how you sort of evolve and grow through this program, the new ideas that come up for you, the relationships, hopefully, that you forge with your peers, and not only with your peers. We'll talk a little bit at the end about the fact that we'll be doing these town halls weekly. So every week you'll be introduced to new folks who work in technology. So there's an opportunity for you to network. What you'll do with that information, what you'll do with those opportunities, I just cannot wait to see how you evolve, what you choose to do with that. More than that, when you're done with this program, and you'll be meeting Lorraine and Alex shortly, and they'll talk to you a little bit about their experience in our previous cohort, our first cohort. Where your journey will take you post this program is what's really exciting to me. We don't even know where you'll end up, and even bigger than that, we have no idea how you'll contribute to the tech world and the world at large through what you learn here and how you apply it to real world, right? So I won't even start. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. But technology is part of every aspect of our lives, and the fact that you now get to be a part of that and get to change the world in small and large ways is just truly something that touches my heart, as odd as that might seem. And anyways, I will be following you in the LMS and getting to know as many of you as I can. As I mentioned, please do feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'm here. I'm not this android who just does administrative stuff behind closed doors. I'm more than happy to get to know you, and I'm here to assist in any way that I can. So with that said, I am going to pass it on to Shayi. Amanda, please I don't see Shayi, but please let me know, confirm that he is indeed here. Oh, there you are. Hello, lovely. I will introduce you to him. So Shayi Onifade. I want to say it with my Latin accent. So Onifade. All right, so he is the co-founder of Zuri Team Limited. Zuri Team operates, I'm reading my notes, guys, because otherwise I will talk forever. Zuri Team operates free software development and design training across Africa, and obviously here for participants in the United States as well. Shay is a software developer who writes several languages, including Python, JavaScript, and PHP. He'll be leading the team of tutors during the Reskill Americans training in the cohort that you're in now. And he is involved in planning and executing several online programs, such as this one, and has been doing so since 2016. So I will pass it on to him. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the introduction. I was part of the last cohort, and it was a great cohort. We had very wonderful people join the program, and it was a success. I'm very happy to see Alex here today. Thank you for joining us. I'll be talking about the program and the curriculum and the plans that we have for you in a very, in a few minutes. The program is divided into a few phases. The first phase is what we call the intro phase. The purpose of the intro phase is to explain to you what you'll be learning during the program. So the intro phase is just an introduction into technology, introduction into computer. For those who don't really have that experience, we'll be telling you about the terminology you'll be learning. We'll be introducing you to basics like what languages you'll be learning and why we chose those languages. we'll be introducing you to what is called product design and why we decided to do product design in this cohort. So the intro phase is for 4 weeks. The duration of the entire program is 7 months, but the intro phase is just 4 weeks. In that 4 weeks, you will just be learning basic things that we believe you need to know before you can do well in the program. And then after the intro phase, we go into the phase 1. The phase 1 of the program is the most important part of the program because that's where we actually teach you the core of the track you have chosen. For this program, we have 2 tracks. Tracks are like the course you have chosen for the program. The first track is the full stack web development track, and the second track is the UI UX design track. Full stack basically means you are able to write both front end and back end languages. As we continue in the program, you will understand what it means to write both front end and back end. And then the second track, which I call UI UX, is a design track, which is those that design and then hand it over to the coders to develop. So those are the 2 tracks that we have for the program. The phase 1 program is for 20 weeks. And during that time, you will be involved in learning. You'll be attending classes and attending office hours. You get access to different opportunities to speak with professionals who can help you as you learn. Your learning will be done on what we call the LMS, which is just learning management system. And then you get the content for all the classes. You get your assignments on the LMS, and then you get your grades on the LMS. And after you get graded, you also get the feedback from the tutor, so you know what to do to improve on yourself. So the phase 1 is for 20 weeks, like I said earlier. It is the most important part of the training because that's where we go deep into each of the tracks you have chosen. Unfortunately, you can only select one track, as you probably already know. You can't do both full stack and UI UX design track at the same time. You can only do one, so that you can focus and really do well in each of them. The second part of the program is called phase 2, and it's the team project part. There is something I didn't mention. In the phase 1 of the program, you will have built several projects as an individual. So in the first week, you work on several things. In the second week, you work on several things. As you work in the phase 1 of the program, you'll have built several projects. In the phase 2 of the program, you will be working in teams to develop a single project. So we divide you into teams and you work on a single project as a team. I don't know how large the teams will be yet, but when the time comes, you get more information about it. But we try as much as possible to make sure that every track is represented in each team so that you can collaborate and understand how each of those tracks fit together. I mentioned earlier that full stack means front end and back end. Sometimes people decide to specialize in either front end or back end, but in this training, we are giving you both. We are giving you access to both, and we are actually expecting that you maximize opportunity and get good at both of them, because it increases your chance of getting a job at the end of the program. So in the phase 2 of the program, you'll be practicing what you've learned in the phase 1 to work on a project that we expect to finish and be proud of, and a project that you can add to your CV. When the time comes, there will also be a demo day, which gives you opportunity to come and showcase your project to the team, to the board, and anybody that attends the program. You'll be seeing me, several times, because I'll be working with the tutors. I have a team of tutors. We have about 40 of them that will be working with you. You get access to them anytime you need them. You get access to regular office hours. You will also get access to a Calendly link that you can use to book an appointment with them, because we discovered that sometimes individuals prefer to just do a one-on-one with the tutor instead of attending a large class. So you'll be having access to that also. And access to them will be unrestricted, which means you can contact them anytime you need them, as long as it falls within their availability period and they are not engaged with somebody else. And even if they are engaged with somebody else, we have people that we call program coordinators. That's people you can reach out to if you are not able to reach a tutor. So if you need help with, for example, your back-end assignments, and you can't reach any tutor at that point, you can reach out to a program coordinator who is going to ensure that you get a tutor to help you with your assignment. And then after the program, there is something we call job prep, and then the community engagement, which means we'll continually provide support for you until you get a job placement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shei. And I do see some questions coming into the chat, and I just want to confirm that you can change your track once we get going. And if you're having any issues getting into the LMS Moodle, please email us info@reskillameriCans.org. That's the easiest way for us to get that information to you, so we can get your name and email address and get you your username and password. So any issues, please email us. The next person I want to introduce on the call is Lorraine, and I'm going to look at my notes here. Lorraine is an educator who's interested in making a transition into tech. She completed the UI UX design track last year with Reskill Americans, and she's put these new skills to use. Her husband is also a Reskill Americans graduate. He did the web development track, and they often collaborate with each other on different projects. Thank you, Lorraine, for being here, and I'll hand it off to you to introduce yourself and tell us about your experience in the program.
All right, hi everyone. So just to share a little bit about my journey before joining Reskill Americans, all I knew is that I really wanted to make a career change. I really didn't know where to start. My husband started with purchasing some coding boot camps on Udemy, and he was like so excited about it. He did all this code talk to me, and seeing his excitement made me want to decide that maybe I should also try a coding course. But I really didn't feel the way he felt. However, I knew I wanted to change, so I was willing to go through it. And one day I was online looking for an answer for a coding exercise that I needed help with. And I came across a video that was promoting Reskill Americans. And that's where I learned about UI and UX design. I had never heard of it until I read their description on their website. I did a little research, I dug a little further, and it really resonated with me. And that's really that's all I needed. I signed up, I joined Reskill Americans. When I started, I was very nervous. I worked full time, I have small kids. I was worried if I would be able to handle the workload on top of it all. But I was also very excited for the prospect of learning a new skill set that could help me transition to a new career. So to anyone that feels that anxiety or feels that way, let me just put you at ease and let you know that you're entering a very supportive and a very friendly learning environment. My husband and I both joined the program. He did the web development part of it, of course. But now we have like our own little at-home team. We collaborate on projects where I design them and he builds them. We're constantly thinking of new ideas and playing around with new projects and new apps. So yes, the workload can be intensive at times, and there will be deadlines to meet, and eventually people are going to rely on you on your work. But when it comes down to it, there's this wonderful sense of community. There's so many resources available to help you to be successful, including amazing mentors and TAs. And it's just a wonderful program. There's no strings attached. It really is your willingness to learn, and you'll be successful. So welcome to Reskill.
Thank you so much for your introduction. And next, I want to introduce Alex, who was also with us during our first cohort. Alex went from being a touring musician. He played with artists like Becky G, Leona Lewis, Nipsey Hussle, and more. And during the pandemic, he finally had the chance that he'd been waiting for to learn about programming. He realized he loved it, and about a year and a half into self-teaching, he discovered Reskill Americans and joined as in the back end track that we had back last year. Several months after the boot camp, he landed his first job and has been working as a software developer for the last 6 months. Thank you, Alex, for joining us, and I'll pass it on to you.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction, and it's great to see you guys again. Some of you guys I haven't seen in a while. But yeah, I mean, you pretty much said everything, so I have nothing else to say. But yeah, I started, like Lorraine said, her husband started with Udemy courses. I also started learning through Udemy. Udemy is a great resource. And I also encourage, for those of you who are starting this journey, trying to learn from different resources is always helpful. So even though you may be learning here through Reskill, it never hurts to also maybe watch some YouTube videos or, supplement that learning with something else. That's always helpful, and that's always helped me in the past. But yeah, before I joined Reskill, I had about a year and a half of experience learning through Udemy courses, learning through YouTube. So I came across Reskill in some type of Facebook group that was dedicated to programming. And it really caught my attention. Obviously a free boot camp, like who is not going to want to participate in that? So I looked into it, and I debated whether or not I should do it because I had already some experience with full stack development. But I decided to do it anyway, and it was a great decision that I did because even though I had some experience, I still learned a ton. So if you're somebody that's like me, that's been coding for a little bit, a year and a half, I think it's still completely worth it to join the boot camp. You're still going to learn a ton. And one of the biggest things that I loved about the bootcamp was working on group projects. That's something that I never had the experience learning on my own, was being able to work with an entire team of, front-end developers, back-end developers, UX developers, project managers, and then you had tutors and stuff. So that experience alone was well worth joining the course. And you have an entire team here who is honestly very dedicated and wants to see you succeed. They have all these free resources for you to partake in that are there for you to succeed. And they're always there with open arms to receive anything, if you need help, even if you have any criticisms, whatever it is, they're there for you. And I would take advantage of it all over again. If this opportunity was presented to me again about a year ago. So yeah, having access to tutors, having access to even some of your the other students, and being able to collaborate with them and keep in touch with them after Reskill Americans is just amazing to be able to have that community that if you're a self-taught developer, you might not have access to that kind of community. So yeah, and if you guys have any questions or want to reach out to me personally, feel free to do that. I'm always willing and happy to help people who have questions or are in the same boat as I am. If you used to be a musician and you're trying to transition into tech or something like that, feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you, Alex, so much for sharing about your experience. Next, I'm going to pass it on to our Director of Program Director, Jawan, just to speak a little bit to the cohort and about our experience last year and what you should expect and look forward to in the upcoming months.
Hey, thank you, Amanda. Really excited to be here and meet all of you. This is a really exciting day, exciting moment for all of us, I'd say. This vision started maybe it's more than a little over a year ago. But the overarching vision for the founders of the program is to provide access to quality technology education, but not just that, a lot of support. And the results that we've seen from the first program are really encouraging. I'm sure all of you have been inspired by Lorraine and Alex's story already, but that's just testament to the amazing work that they themselves have done. One of the biggest things that we've seen in the program is the willingness and determination that the participants have shown. And the gratifying aspect of that is you always get out of it what you put into it. It's not easy, but it's something that's very doable, and the team is always available to support you in as many ways as possible. What this also has in terms of advantage over self-learning, as many of our participants will find, is that actual industry experts, people who are currently in the roles that you're aspiring to, will come to speak to you from time to time in opportunities such as this, and help really demystify what it means to be a software developer or a designer or a program manager or whatever other roles you're interested in. And the beauty of taking this program also is that not only does it provide you a really great avenue to really explore your passion for whether that's software development or any other path that you choose, is with the solid technical understanding that you have from doing these two crucial tracks, you will be empowered to take on many other roles in technology. Another big part of it is the group projects. Self-learning, while it's great, doesn't offer you an opportunity to work with other people, to simulate what it'll be like on a day-to-day if you work at a technology company, which is collaborating with people, talking with people, figuring out how to solve problems. You know, in the last program, we had people who had challenges on their program, maybe because on their projects, because certain elements were missing. And that's where you see the real creativity come alive, where people are willing to help each other navigate whatever challenges that may be. So the cohort learning experience is another very important element of this program. And, you know, it's just a really exciting experience. We're really excited to have you all. And I really can't wait to see what y'all gonna do. I think something that I'll also chime in is networking is a very important aspect of building a technology career, right? And that's why, you know, LinkedIn was a very important aspect of your enrollment process. But don't just, the start of the journey is getting the account, but I think actively using it is also very important. Connect with people, have conversations with people, talk about your journey. You know, what did you learn this week? Did you learn how to build a front page website? You know, one of the participants who got a job from our program last year got the job only because he posted his certificate on LinkedIn, right? That's how he got contacted and got hired, just by doing that. So I think making that a practice from day one and connecting and chatting and seeking advice, mentors in the industry, I think that will take you a very long way. And last but not least, before I leave, is believe in yourself. I think that is something you can never have enough of. Confidence, even in your learning, you're understanding that your day one would never be as good as your day 100, and your day 100 will not be as good as your day as your 1,000th day. But learning is a process, and just keep going, keep believing in yourself, keep building. I'm really excited for what you all are gonna do.
Thank you for that, Juan. Now we're going to jump into our question and answer segment of today's call. We're going to get to as many questions in the chat that we can. And if I kind of know who it goes to, I'll just say who on Zoom can answer the question, if you guys could support. The first question is going to be for Shayi, and that is that some people are getting error messages in Moodle. What is the best way for them to contact us so that can be fixed? And it's a 504 error.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is to send an email to the email address Amanda gave earlier, and you'll get a response from there. I'm not really sure why you're getting that error, but I'm sure it can be fixed very quickly.
Thank you. Another question that I noticed is they're asking, what do they need to do if they want to change tracks? So if they selected that they were undecided, or decide at the end of the week that they actually want to do UI UX, what should they do then?
Okay, you know, in the first few weeks of the program, we are just going to be having the introductions. So within that period, you can change your mind. It's quite easy to change your track at that point, but beyond that point, it might be a little bit more difficult. So to change your track within that intro phase, you just inform us and we'll change it for you in the back end. But other than that, I think, you know, it might be more difficult. So, better to make your choice within that intro phase period before you go into the actual program.
Thank you. The next two questions I can answer. The next one is about what if you missed enrollment and you want to join us, but it's past the window. So that we unfortunately cannot allow any more participants in the program. Our enrollment window closed at the end of September, and we will not be opening it to individuals at this time because we want to be fair across the board with that. And the next one is about a Discord link or Slack link. We will be using Moodle to interact with instructors to start off. If we move to a different messaging system when we get into projects and further into the program, you'll be notified. But right now, Moodle is going to be the primary way that you're going to be interacting with your instructors. Let's see. The next question I'm seeing is this live or pre-recorded? This is live, so if your questions are coming in through YouTube, there's about 400 of you guys on the call, so we're gonna try to get to them the best we can. Shayi, this question is for you. It says, can we access both tracks? Is there a way for them to access both tracks while in the program, or do they have to choose one?
Yeah, you have to choose one. It's a lot of work. Either track is a lot of work. So I don't think it's ideal to try to do both. You have to choose one.
Thank you. And I'll leave this up to maybe Jawan. Maybe you're the best person to answer questions about apprentice or partnerships after the program. How would we describe what that looks like if you finish the program? What are the opportunities after you get your certification?
So there are a bunch of opportunities out there. What we've seen historically is that more of our participants have gotten jobs at or internships at smaller companies or startups, because typically it's probably more entry-level friendly. But we've also had participants, gone on to like Fortune 500 companies. I think that experience will differ from person to person. And that's why we're basically trying to set that foundation in terms of using a lot of the tools that's accessible. Because if you think about the job search process, it's about visibility, right? You have to be visible for you to stand a chance in a crowded market. And how do you do that? By putting your best foot forward, by showing off your project, by constantly talking about this transition you're making. Because at the end of the day, it's about being visible to the hiring managers, to the decision makers who are ultimately going to make that decision. In the past, we've had partnerships, with certain companies who have come and recruited through us and presented opportunities. Those also exist. But there are no 100% guarantees around that. But definitely, we're always looking out for opportunities, and when those present themselves, we'll definitely be sure to pass them along to the participants.
Thank you. The next question I will direct to Shayi. Participants are wondering if they can change their name or contact information within Moodle.
Yes, you should be able to make changes to your name. You might not be able to change your email address because that's important, but you should be able to change your name.
Thank you. Another question is how many people graduated last year? We had about 130 graduates or so last year, maybe like 131, 132. Let's see. The next question says, are we allowed to work on original projects during the program, or are the projects provided for participants? Jawan, maybe you can speak to that question.
So because this is a guided learning experience, it will vary, but most of the projects that you will work on will be things that, are provided. but there's probably an opportunity to have fun in the phase of in the second phase, which is like the team projects. Given that there's consensus on the projects that you want to build. But again, there'll also be room and flexibility for you to build something on your own, or even partner up with other participants in the program to build something on the side. We actually encourage that, because the more experience you can get in that time, and that's also to what Shay had said earlier about not combining maybe not trying to combine two different tracks at the same time. It's not really about how many different things you can do. It's about how well you can do those things. So, and it's kind of like repetition. The more you try, the better you get at it. It's just really that simple.
Thank you. The next question is, can participants work on the program during their own hours, or are there set hours that they have to work? Shay, can you describe kind of how that's set up, how much of it is individual learning that they could do on their own hours, and how much of it do they need to do at set times?
Most of what you'll be learning will be individual, in the phase one of the program. But there are also set deadlines to most of the things you'll be learning. So you get assignments almost every week, and there'll be deadline for each assignment. So even though there is a lot of space for you to do it, there is still a deadline for each of those assignments, so that we can help you to achieve those things as early as possible. I don't know if did that answer that question?
Yes, it's my understanding that the program's set up so that you can work during your own hours. The things that are live, like this right here, are recorded and available for if they need to go back and watch the recording. But their assignments do have due dates that they do have to meet to move on to the next phase of the program. Let's see, do we have an estimate for the end date of the 7-month program? Like what month would that, do we plan on it falling in? Do you happen to know, Javon or Shay? I know we're gonna account for holidays.
Yeah, I think that it's likely to be sometime in May of 2023. Wow, can't even believe I'm saying 2023. Yeah, it's somewhere around there. We'd like to have some flexibility around like dates, because certain events, occurrences, holidays, as Amanda mentioned. But of course, we will also try to keep to the time, because we want to be respectful of everybody's time.
And would you say we'll give them like an exact date of when they would have graduated and gotten a certificate, probably in like phase 2?
Yes, yes,
that
will become clearer as the program progresses. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how do they receive their certificate? Is it somebody is asking, is it a GPA that they need to maintain? How would you describe how they would pass at the end of the 7 months?
Is that for me?
Yes, sorry, Shay.
Oh, okay, yeah. So if you make it to the project phase, which is the phase 2 of the program, and you are able to complete your project, everyone who complete their project will get a certificate. I mean, if that changes, we'll let you know, but right now that's the standard.
Mm-hmm. What happens if someone, and this is for Shay again, sorry. What happens if someone falls behind on their assignments and misses the due dates?
Yeah, I mean, if you are not more than 2 weeks behind, you can still catch up, because we give that opportunity. We give 2 weeks opportunity for you to catch up. But if it's more than 2 weeks, you might have to learn on your own and just complete the program on your own and join the next cohort if you need a certificate. But at least we give 2 weeks of space.
Mm-hmm. And they'll have those office hours and be able to communicate with instructors. So the best thing is to really stay in that communication so that you're not falling behind. Let's see. Do they have to download any external applications during the program?
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't matter the track you choose. You will download things and install things. So yes.
Will there be a syllabus available on Moodle?
Yeah, so Moodle has a list of everything you'll be learning and you will see them, but you'll get access to them every week so that it doesn't get too much, but you will have access to everything you'll be learning for the entire program.
What type of support will they receive? And maybe Jawan, this question would be best directed to you. What kind of report or support will participants receive for job placement? If you could speak to kind of the, go ahead.
Yeah. So in terms of, again, just to be clear, we don't really do placement because we don't have the resources for that. But we do provide a lot of support. One is we have a career coach who provides advice on how to build resumes, LinkedIn profile, everything that will put you, in the top, 10% of job applicants out there. And they're like little changes that can make a huge difference, right? We have industry experts, people who've been in an industry, for whether it's a little time or a long time, because it's good to have both perspectives, right? Who will come in and tell you about what you need to be doing per time to either improve yourself from a portfolio standpoint or improve yourself just in maybe how to interview and things like that. So also we have mock interviews, which are more technical, right? So if you're interviewing as a designer, how do you present your project or talk through a problem? And if you're a software developer, how do you do the same? Also providing guidance on how to navigate things like, and I probably try not to get too technical, but things like leak code and other testing software that you have to write code on. But all of that will be provided to you in the program as you go on. One of the things that we're doing, so before in the last program, we had a specific time in the program that was dedicated to just job prep. But this time we actually want to start from as early as possible because one of our participants actually got a job, in the 4th month of the program the last time. So we want to even prepare you for success as early as possible. And that's kind of like where it is. So, I mean, just to recap quickly, it's that we have like a plethora of support services that we provide, but there's no actual placement office or something of that nature. But it's something that we don't gatekeep any of that. So it's something that you'll be able to do on your own.
And I'll direct the next question to Shayi. Can participants get a list of the projects that they'll be working on or a number of projects that they'll have to complete?
In the phase 1 of the program, there are about 5 different projects, but with a lot of support. In the phase 2, it might be 1 or 2. I'm not really sure yet. It depends on, sometimes it might depend on you and your interest, but that's like, a range of the number of projects you're working on.
Thank you. And will they receive feedback on the projects and specifically how the projects can improve?
Oh, yes, definitely. During the training phase, you will get weekly assignment, and under each assignment, you get grades. And after the grades, you get feedback on each of the assignments. And when you work on projects, also, you get feedback on each of the projects so that you know what you can do to improve on those things.
And I can speak to the next question. Is asking if people can participate in more than one cohort of the program. And that's yes, we have some folks in this cohort who are also in the last one. And I also saw a question about which number cohort are we on? And this is our 2nd cohort. Next question says, can you give a small overview of the difference between UI, UX, and full stack tracks? So we know that this intro phase will walk them through that, but can you give like a brief 1 to 2 sentence overview of the difference between UI, UX, and full stack? And that's for Shayi.
Okay, so typically UI UX designers don't write code. You don't write any language, you just design using different tools. You can create components, you can create specifications, but you don't write code for those things. Software developers or full stack developers are the ones that actually code out the things that was designed by the UI UX designer. So UI UX simply means user interface, which is UI, and UX is user experience.
Thank you. The next question is asking, and this is for Shayi again, can they work ahead of the weekly schedule, or at some point are they locked into a certain week?
Yes, we encourage you working ahead of the schedule. Obviously, that's a good thing. So it's fine if you want to do that because you already have an access to the list of the things you'll be learning. So you can work ahead and then others will catch up with you.
All right. And are they going to learn Python for the full stack developers?
No, we don't have Python this year. We had Python last year. This year is going to be Node.js for backend and React.js and HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for front end.
Thank you. And for the programs that they'll need to download, will they work on a MacBook?
Yes.
Is the next question. Okay, thank you. Let's see. The next question says, when can they start on the introduction phase?
Okay, so typically we take a few days to let you settle into the program. So once we complete the settling in phase of the program, which is probably this week, then we'll go into the intro phase.
And let's see, the next question. Can you speak to what coding languages that will be learned during the program?
Yeah, so I mentioned them earlier. For backend, we are using Node.js, which is just JavaScript written for backend. And then for front end, we are writing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and React.js.
Okay, just looking through what we haven't answered yet. We have a couple more minutes here. Somebody wants to know, I'm not sure if we have a definitive answer to this, but which track adds the most value in being successfully hired by the tech industry? Maybe that could be phrased like which one has the most job opportunities tied to it. So when would you kind of know which one of those has more opportunities when you're searching? Is it UI UX or is it web development?
I don't think that kind of mindset is the best because I think it's better to think about it in terms of what are you what do you feel the most comfortable with? The two programs there are in high demand skills that is very like they can hire enough of good people in those roles. So I think the better way to look at it is to apply yourselves really well. Somebody said something about going ahead in the course, but I would even probably take a different approach, is that for almost every subject, you can expand even more. So if you've completed your coursework for a week, give yourself some more projects. Like software development or design isn't something that, you skim through like a book and once you're done, it's done. Every single day you pick it up and you work with it, you'll learn something new, even if it's something you've done over and over again. So getting really good at it, with practice and more practice, and not just doing that, but also getting your head up, meeting up with people in your local community, talking to companies, reaching out. I think all of that will make you successful regardless of the track that you choose.
Thank you. The next question, which I feel like is important, is if they email us as the support team, what is our turnaround on time right now? Should they expect a response at the end of the day or within a day or two?
So for
Juan, I don't know
support,
if you could,
because
yeah.
the program just started, you know, the emails are getting really slammed right now. And as you can see, it's a really, really small team. So we're doing all we can to respond, but I imagine that that response rate will get better, one, as we transition into the chat software, because then you'll be able to interface directly with mentors, and the need to use the info mail will be reduced. But also, more importantly, the more we walk through the issues, because there's a couple of technology issues that we're working through right now. As those clear up, that response rate, you'll see it greatly improve.
The next question I'll direct to Shayi. Will they have projects for a portfolio at the end of the program? And will they get assistance with creating their portfolio site?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the projects we're working on is your own portfolio during the program. So you'll get a lot of support and assistance in getting it up to standard. So yes, yeah.
All right, the next question here is, will they get reminders of when assignments are due on Moodle, or how will that show up in their learning platform?
Okay, so part of the orientation program, which I mentioned earlier, we'll be doing just to help you settle in, is we'll be showing you how to use Moodle. So you don't have to worry too much about it right now. We'll walk you through it and where you find your courses, where you submit your assignments, and where you see the reminders. We'll also be posting a reminder on the chat software when it becomes available, and possibly sending you messages on Moodle when your assignment is about to be due. Yeah.
All right, I'm just looking at time here, and we're almost at 6 o'clock my time. Let's see, so we answered the Moodle questions. Let's see. And I think another common question was just from the last cohort, how many people started and how many people finished. I know the registration was a little bit different last time, but Juwan, do you want to speak through kind of how that funneled through and what happened at each phase of the program?
Yeah, as I said earlier, the most exciting thing about this program are the participants, right? Because we provide access, you know, it seems that's the easiest part, right? You have to bring the grind, you have to bring the hustle. So the last time we started the program was about 1,000 people. And by the end, we ended with 130 participants. And I know that might be dismal, but the industry rate for online courses and programs like this is actually less than 10%. So we got 13%, which is great. And that's just like testament to the level of grit and determination, because people show up every day, not because they have to, but because they want to, right? And that's the biggest thing for us.
Thank you for that. I'm going to close it out here shortly. We did have a question about if town halls are going to continue to be Mondays at 5. And I believe there's going to be a change in that. But if there is, we will update you through email. If you have any questions, please do reach out to our email address, info@reskillameriCans.org. We are doing our best to address every question that comes through in a thorough way, so that if you're not receiving an email, you do receive emails moving forward. We really want to spend our time answering each of your questions. And so please be patient and give it at least a full day for a response. Especially if you're having a hard time getting into Moodle, or if you see an error, an email is the best way to contact us so that we can get all of the information we need on our end. Let's see, what else can I say before we close? Thank you to Alex and Lorraine for being on the call, and the Reskill Americans team for being on the call and answering questions. I know this cohort is so excited to get started and hit the gate running. So thank you to everyone who joined the call. This is recorded, so we will be sharing the link so that you can look back if you missed any part of the orientation. But with that, I will leave us to log off. We are so excited to get started. Please do email us with your questions, and we will be chatting with you in Moodle, and we can't wait to see your journeys and how they unfold. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a good night.
Amanda, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Awesome job.
And make sure to like.
And a shout out to Lorraine. And I think Alex is no longer on, but thank you so much. Amanda, you're awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you for joining the call. All right, the live feed did stop. Okay.